Very often people ask, what do I do when my child displays this behavior or acts this way? How do I respond when they display this behavior or do this or that thing? And my consistent answer is addressing the behavior doesn't change the behavior. Addressing the cause of the behavior changes the behavior. And I had a quick example to give you that I just dealt with today, in fact. So I went for a run with Lyric and with a jogging stroller, knowing I had about 30 minutes before the babysitter was going to arrive. And I texted her to say, if you get there before us, just let yourself in. We'll be there shortly. When we got here, the babysitter was inside and opened the door for us. And I said, Lyric, go inside with the babysitter. I'm going to go put the stroller away. When I come back from putting the stroller away, Lyric is still in the front of the house. And she's like, I am not going inside. And I was like, well, okay, come on, let's go in together. And so she was okay with that. So I came in, I guess, kind of hurried and kind of told the babysitter what needed to happen today. She was getting breakfast started, and Lyric was watching some TV. And I was like, Lyric, I'm going to go up and work. So a little while later, my standing desk, when I'm working, overlooks our front lawn, the front of the house. And Lyric was like driving on one of her little cars or whatever. She was like doing something outside in the front. And I could hear her like yelling and being like really rude to the babysitter. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do this. Oh, wait. Like everything, I could just hear that she was just not being herself. She really adores our babysitter and usually celebrates when she gets here and is very excited to see her. And so to hear her talking like that to her, I was like, something is up. But I still just was like, Lyric, don't speak that way, to the babysitter. You know, we speak kindly or respectfully. I can't remember what word I said, but I addressed it without getting upset with her. But I just let her know that I was listening to how she was talking to the babysitter. And Lyric immediately started crying and came running to the house and comes straight upstairs to where I'm working. And so I opened the door, um, and I can't remember what exchange happened then, but I said to the babysitter, I'm going to send her back down in a few minutes because I could see that we needed some time with one another, or I needed some time to talk to her. And so I just want to pause here to let you know what my approach was. I could have just focused on the way she was speaking to the babysitter, her tone, her volume, all of those things, and just like laid into her about the behavior. But I knew that this was unusual, so I knew there was a cause, and I was like, let me find out the cause so I could address the cause. And so I said to her, I sat down and I just looked at her and was like holding her hands. I said, Lyric, what's the matter? Her lip pokes out immediately and she starts crying again. And she's like, I didn't want you to leave. So I hug her, I'm comforting her. So I end up sitting in the rocking chair I have in the room and I'm just like snuggling with her and we're talking. What I realized is that I had transitioned too quickly. That we usually have a little bit more of a process, I guess, of separating. Sometimes that involves me doing her hair. Sometimes that what involves us watching TV together a little bit before the babysitter gets here, or eating breakfast together. We usually have a little bit more of a routine and time spent. Sometimes I even set a timer to let her know that the babysitter is coming, and usually that's because she's excited that the babysitter is coming, and she's like, "Where is she? Where is she?" And I'll set a timer to help her with that. Either way, what I realized is that the transition was rushed and it didn't sit right with her, and she was like taking it out on the babysitter. Her bad mood or her feeling of being rushed or whatever it is, being unsettled, she took out on the babysitter. So we talked for a little while. I spent some time with her, rubbed her hair, we snuggled, and I said to her, I have to work soon, so let's talk about what's going to happen when we finish having this time together. And so we talked about what toy she could play um, with the babysitter when I was ready to go back to work, and that she could consider apologizing. I'm not going to force her to apologize because it needs to be authentic. But I mentioned to her that I kind of lost it on Lyric a few days ago, and there's probably a whole other video that I can create. But I apologized to her afterward, and I said, Lyric, I'm sorry that I raised my voice with you. This is, I want to work on different ways to respond when I feel frustrated. I said, do you remember when I did that? And she said, yes. And I was like, well, that's something that you can do because you apologize to people you care about when you don't treat them in a way that you want to treat them. So I laid the seed. I don't think she apologized, but I planted that seed, and she decided that she wanted to play with particular blocks with the babysitter. But what she said is, I want to play by myself. So I said to her, play by yourself. I updated the babysitter with what was happening. And then I said, when you're ready to play with her, when you want some company, you can call her and see if she wants to come upstairs. So, I mean, I was probably in my bedroom for less than 5 minutes, and I hear her say, calls the babysitter's name. It's like, I'm just gonna say in quotes like babysitter, says her name and says, "Would you like to come upstairs and play with me?" And she goes, "Sure." So the need was met, and I heard them laughing, and it was like the normal relationship that I hear between them, for the rest of the time that she was here, which was several hours. And so I just wanted to give this example because I don't always know how I'm going to respond to a behavior that I'm seeing, because I first have to learn what the cause was. And once I learned that the cause was created by her feeling unsettled by the way we transitioned. Transitions are hard for kids, particularly for toddlers. It's hard. You have to prep them for it, and I didn't do a good job of that. So I gave her the time and the connection that she needed, and I prepped her for what was coming next, because I was like, I am going to have to go back to work. This is going to happen. Um, and we talked about what she could do, how she could respond, all of the things to prep her for it. And the behavior was changed. There was the way she spoke to the babysitter, didn't have to be addressed for the rest of the hours that she was here. If I had instead just chastised her for the way she spoke to the babysitter instead of finding out the cause, the behavior may not have changed, because she just would have gotten in a worse mood. All behavior is communication. She was communicating something to both the babysitter and me, that she was upset by something. I had to find out what that was, and I'm happy to see the results with that, and just wanted to share that example.